Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the QuaranStream Vibes Just Hangs. I'm here with my guys, Mattia and Sean Connery, with a shave, looking young this time.
A little bit. Babyface Connery.
Gloomy today, out in the weather-wise. It's very grey on my end. How about you guys? No rain as yet.
It's pretty good. It's pretty.
Like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same. There's a bit of cloud around, but I don't mind a bit of change of scenery. It was quite sunny and blue and fair yesterday, and then today it's a little more interesting.
But I can see my bridge here.
A little gray for us.
Looks like today, 16th of September, is the actual official day that they've allowed inter-district deliveries. Which is great news. I hit up my Shopee and Lazada orders that were non-essential, and they did say that they'll start commencing the rescheduled delivery of that. So looking forward to it, because I bought myself a transformer, Matthias, for my birthday.
A transformer, just what you need for just what you need.
No, I
for
bought it
QuaranStream,
ages ago. I bought it kind of like before Great View. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I was just I thought I'd just flip the camera momentarily to show the dear listeners what we've got going on here in Saigon at the moment. This bridge out the front is almost finished, and but in terms of the weather, you can see the clouds like that. And let me tilt it down a little. Hopefully, it'll brighten up a little. So there we go. So this is Vinhome's really Golden good. River. Fantastic view. This is my best mate Tom's apartment. I thought I'd come and do a little work here. I'll point it that way. I thought I'd come and do a little work here for the afternoon, and I commandeered his party room, and basically this is the view that I'm looking at while I'm on the stream with you guys. So nice. thought I'd show it off a little.
I have seen Sean in that room many times. There's the bell. But yeah, no, I just
Bell of love.
I've been collecting Transformers, I guess not as hardcore as what normal collectors would do, but over the course of time, when I come across one that is from the Generation 1 range and is kind of the later, there's so many different types of brands that make Transformers, but the ones that I look at is Masterpiece, because they go for as much as cartoon-like. The colors are cartoon-like, and the aesthetics and the articulation in the robot itself is full movement. Everything from your fingers to your knuckles, so it's all posable, but it can transform to its vehicle mode as well. That's why I every now and then I just sort of pick one up, and it's cheap here in Vietnam. So
you've really thought this through, haven't you, Petey? I see you spent a bit of time analyzing these articulation and colors and realism and transformational powers. Very important.
There's so many YouTubers out there that review these products, and when you have a chance to have a look at the ones that they review, you get an idea on what's worth getting. And it wasn't expensive. It was like $38 shipping, was like $40 total. And these guys, the hardcore guys, they'll be collecting one as soon as it comes out. I've probably got 7 Transformers since I started, but I've got some old ones, like old ones that I've back at Mum's when I was a kid. I've still kept them. But these ones that I've started collecting, I've kept the box and done the transformation a few times, and that's it. I got a Starscream back at Mum that's worth $500 now, and I got it for $120.
Oh wow, that's not bad. Not a bad little return. How long have you held it for?
That one was when I was still living in Australia, so it'll be over 10 years, and it was a first version of the Masterpiece. So over the years, Masterpiece, obviously, when technology gets better and the engineering gets better, they release better versions of it. But because mine was the first edition, it's rare. So yeah,
sure.
I don't know. I mean,
not a bad investment. 5x in 10 years. It's not bad at all.
Well, someone said to me, "Is there a price that you would sell it at?" And of course. I mean, it's not something that I would hold onto as a collectible unless I'm already killing it in financials, and I can let something, it's got sentimental value. That's where it's hard to let go of, and there's sort of no money on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that makes it. That definitely makes it more tricky.
You guys got anything you collect? or hold on to? Hoarders? You bunch of hoarders?
I do. So I was going to say, Sean, you can go first, but he's bounced. So basically for me, here we go. Phone numbers.
Yeah.
Phone numbers, Sean.
Wide variety. All around the world. Numbers all around the world. Mr. International, Mr. 305. I just have area codes by Snoop Dogg playing in my mind right now when you said that, Sean. It's a perfect song.
It is a fantastic song. So for me, it's vehicles, but unfortunately, because of like space considerations and practicality considerations, I tend to own vehicles for a certain amount of time, unless like only for like a short term to medium term only, unless I really love them. So like I've had a bunch of like sports cars and motorbikes and stuff like that over the years for fun. But then there was also 3 or 4 vehicles that I've had for like a lot longer. So 5 or 6 years at a time. And more specifically, and so this is kind of like my passion for a long time, is Japanese sports cars. More specifically, the 3 cars that I've had for over 5 years are Honda S2000. And so this is also like these days considered a collectible. So I had a black one initially that I bought from a Cambodian guy in Cabramatta in Sydney. And I spent my entire life savings on it back when I was, I think, probably like 21 or something like that. So it was like, $35,000. And I spent literally like every cent I had on this thing. And it was a black S2000 with, these white raised T37 wheels, iconic vehicle car.
Let me just stop you there for a sec. I'm hearing a little bit of static on your mic.
Yeah, it's sort of robotic. It sounded like a robot. A little robotic.
Let me adjust. Let me just unplug and replug.
Why do you unplug and replug? I'm just going to reply to 27 cents here. Paddy had his poor little dog Oscar had some eye infection this morning. I had to take him to the vet. So hopefully Oscar will be all right and he'll be able to come back on the stream soon. So that's the update for you, 27 cents. Yeah, go again.
How's that? Is that a little bit better, or is that still the same?
Yeah. It's a bit better. Before you were very robotic. You had like that jack connection.
I actually had a little bit of that yesterday from you guys. I think it may be a connection fault, but I mean, hopefully that has resolved it now.
I'm listening off my phone here just to see how it goes. That's better. Yeah, that sounds better. Way better. Our commenters, viewers, thanks 27 cents. You're the best.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know, guys. We'd obviously like to present sort of the best quality that we can, in both in terms of picture and audio. So I'm certainly totally open to fixing things. So thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
Awesome. You want me to finish off that story, Petey?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, basically, I spent my entire life savings on this black S2000 from a Cambodian guy named Billy in Cabramatta. Actually, I met him, and basically bought this car, fell in love with the car, bought it, drove it back to Brisbane, Queensland, and I owned this thing for a long time, and I was like, really in love with it. And that was I decided to straight after university, I decided to spend like quite a few months in Europe. And so I was like, I'm going to have to sell this thing to be able to afford this Europe trip. So sure enough, I sold it, went to Europe, came back, I think 3 or 4 months later, because my girlfriend at the time decided that, well, she didn't decide, but she was basically like, I can't stay away for any longer. I'm falling out of love with you. And, we were madly in love. So I basically had to cut my holiday short and go home and try and fix that relationship, which ultimately didn't work. But I got back and I realized that because I didn't stay for as long as I was expecting, financially, I didn't actually need to sell the car, and I regretted it for a long time. So eventually I ended up owning a few other cars, but it always came back to buying another S2000 is like the thing that I want. Like that's what I want in my life. And so I ended up buying a silver one, and then I had that for something like 6 or 7 years, and then I sold that and moved to Vietnam, and then I sort of regretted selling that thing as well. And that one was also gorgeous. So recently, probably about 6 months ago, I bought a red one, and I'm not sure I'm ever going to sell this one. So I didn't end up selling this one before I came back to Vietnam, and basically just put it into storage at at a friend's place. So it's all like covered up and mothballed essentially to make sure it'll be good when I come back. And so this is my kind of like things that I collect. Unfortunately, I can only sort of keep one of them at a time because it's it's an expensive investment and fragile, and it takes up a lot of space.
Well, at least you've chosen a good one. I've always wanted to have a S2000 one time in my life too, but I was always like living at home and looking at my first car and even the second car. Like I always got an influence through my dad and my uncles about its practicality, and wait till you can actually have time to enjoy a car like that. If you get that now and with where you're going and what you're doing, you haven't really got you can't really take people with you except for one other passenger, and that's about it. So
that's the good part about it, though.
But no, I've seen your you started downshift too, and that became huge in Brisbane. And viewers, if you don't know what downshift is, it's I'm sure in every country you all went through a phase of car modifications, everywhere from body kits to your engine work to around sort of I guess culture that you meet up and everyone sort of just checks each other's cars out, and you might have illegal races here and there. So Maddie started one of these back home in Brizzy, and it expanded pretty big, and a good community there of people that get together. It's still going, yes, I believe.
Exactly. It is. Yeah. So a little bit less often now with COVID. So we've got to be pretty careful with when we run them or when we can even run them. But it's still happening. Roughly every 2 months we have a car meet at Brisbane and Gold Coast, basically alternating back and forth. So yeah.
Nice. What were you rolling around, Sean?
Do they have any car events like that in Vietnam? What did you say?
Like modified stuff? I don't know about modified.
Like here in Vietnam.
I know they have just car shows and expos, but I don't think they do anything in the extreme, like Fast and Furious styles, where you'll see a car boot full of subwoofers and stuff. I don't think I've seen that. You might get one of those cars at one of the expo car things, but you won't have one dedicated to all that. I don't think they've done that here yet.
When I first moved to Vietnam, I was actually thinking about starting something similar here in Vietnam. As to what I did in Australia. So I sort of spent a bit of time looking for it and stuff. And there are a few car wash places and tinting places that where owners of exotic cars like to take their cars to modify. So for example, there's a couple of exotics. So like Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Here, sort of, I think there's a guy that lives in Tao Dien that has like a Ferrari and a Lambo at his house. There's a car wash place out in District 2 that has like a bunch of modified cars there, where I saw like a Liberty Walk wide body Ferrari 458. But I think a lot of these guys kind of like a lot of these guys that like younger guys that can afford these supercars, they roll together to the cafe at I think Sunday mornings it is in District 1. Near the roundabout that has all the cafes around it with the fountain in the center. It's a real funky one. I think on Vo Van Tan.
It's the Turtle Lake one, right? The Turtle Lake. The Turtle Pond.
Oh, yeah, turtle,
I believe so. Yeah. So there's that sort of thing, but not really like the Japanese modified cars as such. I mean, cars are so expensive here that they're viewed as a very different thing. So yeah. But there is a little bit of that, but unfortunately not. Certainly it's not a common thing like it is in Australia and the US and Canada and the UK as well.
Sean, other than numbers, do you collect anything?
Collect names in my little book. No, before I used to like Nikes. I didn't like Jordans. I was never a Jordans guy.
Oh,
so
sneakerhead.
I used to like to collect that Nike, the Nike SBs, like the skateboarding shoes. And they would. I used to have like a collection of them, and they would literally have the sickest drops, and like you would always like have to like try to pre-sign up and like get a number. And some of these are like special release shoes, so Yeah, bra straps too, underwear. But yeah, I've always loved the Nike SBs, even though they're like a bigger shoe and they're for like skateboarding. They're super comfy, and like the color designs and the color schemes that they have are well worth it. But I actually here I don't have any. I didn't bring any, and I haven't seen too many SBs out here. So, but that and bra straps and phone numbers.
Numbers, bar straps, and people who like dessert.
Shoes. Yeah.
So I spoke to my mum on the phone today, and she often calls me towards the end of the week. As you know, mums will always be mums, and especially Asian mums, they're always calling to check up on you and stuff like that. So mum and dad, obviously, they follow news in Vietnam here, and they get a little bit worried. So they rang me up and say, "Hey, what's going on? You know, are you okay still? What was the last? How's things since the last update?" And I normally speak to them like once a week now, but she called a little bit early today, just checking in on me. Plus, she reminded me that my driver's license is expiring, and the letter had been sent back home, and asked if I was going to renew it because there's a new rule in Australia that if you let it expire and then come back later, you have to redo your whole test again. That could be more costly than a simple fee of renewing it for, $100 and something bucks to go for another 5 years or something. So I know it's kind of silly, but anyway, back to what mum called me. She was just telling me that they finally got to dad. So he's finally got his first jab on the wait list. So
Nice.
they gave him the call. So he went and had it today. Mum's got moved to next week.
Nice.
So she'll get hers next week. But then a mate of mine sent me a article that in Australia, this is their version of the vaccine passport. So it's interesting to see how every country is already starting to do their own version. I'll bring it up so you guys can have a look. It looks quite misleading, the whole thing at the start, because if you look at this, it's like, it's kind of like face recognition thing, but it isn't. I don't think it would be as that extreme. But
Facial recognition. Whoa.
well, I don't know if it's going to go that far, but I mean, it's going to have the same thing as, vax and non-vax will get certain, I guess, advantages. And the article goes through where it really pushes the fact that they're really going to say to people, if you're not vaxxed, we're going to make it hard for you. We're going to make it harder for you to do things. So I have a feeling this is going to, I guess, start more protests, and people are going to be a little bit more angry, especially for those who,
Definitely.
What about those who have medical reasons that can't get vaccinated?
Yeah.
And shit like
Internal medical problems.
Yeah, who can't get vaxxed. Do they get excluded from this list as well? So, see, they're saying things like this, like, if you want to head to the footy next year, you might need to prove you've had your jabs. Venues in New South Wales will manage Sydney Cricket Ground, Sydney Football Stadium, Olympic Park stadiums. That such events will be demonstrated with their vaccination status. Hang on, is that legal? Probably yes. So, really hounding down on that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the idea is, whether you got to weigh up like sort of like the freedom for the individual versus the good of the many, if that makes sense. Which is it's a really tricky question to ask, because you want people to have rights and you want people to have freedoms, but on the other hand, like, do you really want to let someone who has been reluctant to get vaccinated, and it's irrespective of whether it's for a good reason or a bad reason, but if they happen to have COVID and bring it to a crowded stadium of many thousands of people, does the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few? And I don't know. I mean, it's a difficult question. How do you answer that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think people forget also that, like, that's probably a likely scenario. I think if the percentages of someone who is not vaxxed gets infected will likely can spread it more effectively than someone who is vaxxed that gets it. Because someone who's vaxxed that gets it, I mean, you're supposedly only getting mild to no symptoms. But that's not to say that it can't spread. It still can spread. But the fact that the vaxxed person is more out there amongst people, there was an article in America that they had where people who were vaxxed can spread it amongst other vaxxers, other people that were vaxxed that take the vax because they know their immune is weaker, and then they would not so much as to get the mild that they're expected to be getting, and they'll end up getting more, and then they'll end up feeling, because they're allowed to be out there and do things versus non-vaxxed. So I don't know.
It's an interesting viewpoint. I think what you just said is absolutely right. So there's something called a viral load, which kind of says, like, I think pretty much the idea behind it is like how much of the sickness you have inside you, which determines how sick you are, but also how much of it you shed into the environment. And so obviously, like the higher viral load you have, the more likely you are to be like more sick, and the more likely you are to infect other people. And the people who are not vaccinated have a much, much higher viral load compared to people who are vaccinated. And so I think that's the idea behind they don't, I guess, like, the people who are looking after like making these decisions, they have to sort of figure that out, is in terms of like, like we want to get back to a normal, or like relatively normal, and have things like large scale events and sports things and stuff like that. But the only viable way to do that is if they have like some level of protection, I guess, and don't spread the disease amongst thousands of people. So it kind of like it to me, it would make sense that, like you want to sort of take like the lowest hanging fruit, if that makes sense, in terms of like you want to exclude the people that are like the most dangerous first. Mm-hmm. And that would be the people who are not vaccinated, who will have a higher viral load if they have the disease.
Mm. Oh, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it's the herd immunity, the 70-80% that they're hoping to get to, because in that way, it makes sense with their whole living with COVID, but sharing around that.
I mean, that would be interesting. I know in America right now, they've changed a lot of things at some places to, you have to have your vaccine passport, or at least your vaccine card, to enter certain restaurants. Certain football stadiums and ballparks require a vaccine or a vaccine green card. And it seems like that's slowly pushing some people out, or like towards getting vaxxed, but some people still don't want to do it. So I think it puts everyone in a weird position, kicks people out, keeps people in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Melbourne has
to make people change on the idea of getting vaccinated or not.
Well, Melbourne is about to introduce a lockout rule. So Dan Andrew is saying,
what is a lockout?
So that's the funny thing. I was telling Mom about it. I sent her the video. I'll send you guys a video later. So he was talking about how this whole lockdown business is to obviously stop the infection, or more or less buy time so that people are not crowding into the hospitals while we roll out the vaccine. So now the lockout rule was to lock out unvaccinated people, because they don't want unvaccinated people to come in and take up hospital space. So he was talking about this whole lockout, and it was terrible. The comments I was reading was because people were saying things like, well, what about regular people who have heart disease that still need a bed? Are you still going to lock them out as well, kind of thing? So it's...
Well, I mean, that might not be a bad idea, because do you really want to take them into a place where people are like, ridden with COVID? Like, it's probably not good for them either, realistically speaking.
There's not a lot of room. I mean, I even went on and had a look at how many hospitals and how many ICU units there are in Victoria alone, and they had something like 500 400 or 500 in one sort of area mid 2020, and they had a plan to push it to around 2,000 4,000 ICU beds by this time, I think. So I haven't checked on the updates on how far they are.
For them to huge increase, and ICU beds are insanely expensive as well. So wow,
that's a big amount. I know America, because hospitals are all pretty full again, and it seems some states are starting on vaccines and vaccine rules, but there's a lot of other states that are just open, and no need for a mask, vaccine or no vaccine, they're open. So it's weird, because that could easily just spread it a lot quicker. But That's America.
It's America. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, as the QuaranStream Vibes just hangs. WisePass, enjoy life
Land
every
of the
day,
free,
everywhere.
I guess
Here
they
with my
say.
guys, Matty I, Sean Connery. Don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about SpaceX because they've just launched their first handful of tourists up there. What's up, guys? Welcome back to QuaranStream Vibes Just Hangs here with the Q Squad crew. Missing Paddy because he's attending to his little poor pug, Oscar, who is got an eye infection this morning. So get well, little buddy. Hopefully we'll see you soon. But gentlemen, check this out. SpaceX launches first all-tourist crew into orbit. Here's how the space tourists will spend their next 3 days in orbit. The 4 tourists, I thought it was going to be a whole spaceship full, but 4 tourists aboard Inspiration 4 have every hour planned over the next 3 days in space. They'll have time to talk to their families using NASA's TDRS communication systems and will also be conducting experiments. For example, we'll also talk to her. Haley will also talk to her patients, at St. Jude, where she works as a physician assistant. The crew will also be able to check out their surroundings through a big dome window called the Copula, the same name they gave to the viewing window on the International Space Station. They will have plenty of time to take in the views of Earth and the cosmos. It's kind of cool, huh? I wonder how much tickets are. Sell your S2000s, Matty.
I think that'll be enough for maybe 100th of a ticket, I think. I remember there was a news story a while ago where the spaceship that Bezos sent into space, the ticket on that was 25 million. So I think I'd need to sell a few S2000s for that kind of money.
That's ridiculous. Isn't it crazy?
Actually, the ridiculous thing was, in the end, he couldn't actually make it because of a scheduling conflict and ended up flaking out on it. That's the part that I thought was insane.
Oh, what? He didn't go?
No, he didn't go. Someone else took his place.
No way.
Yeah, it was big in the news like a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago or a month ago. Yeah, it was in the news.
What do you think of Richard Branson's one? He was there first, obviously. I mean, are they in low Earth orbit? I mean, it's not. Is it really space though? Or
it's really space. Low Earth orbit is space, or is classified as space.
Yeah, I don't know. Some scientists say that it's not space yet.
Yeah. I mean, I guess debatable. I don't really know enough about that particular subject to have an opinion. But yeah, it's honestly like. It's interesting. Like some people have very strong opinions about sort of like billionaires going to space, and or maybe it's just the places that I visit. That space should really be kind of like a good for all for the good of all mankind, and should be utilized in such a way that it's good for everyone, as opposed to just billionaires. Which I don't disagree with, to be honest. But on the other hand, also you also have to take into account that these businessmen are actually furthering humanity's space ambitions, particularly, for example, Elon Musk, who is looking to colonize Mars. I mean, that is sort of supporting, hopefully, all of mankind's aspirations and needs in the future. So I don't know. It's you can sort of have opinions in either direction, I think.
Well, we're far from that colonization in our lifetime, but.
I think it'll happen within our lifetime, for sure.
Are you going to have enough? Are you going to be on a walking stick or a wheelchair while you get yourself up there? Or?
I mean, look, I live in Vietnam and I drink a lot of alcohol, so probably.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Like for us to be living in this lifetime where obviously we didn't witness the moon landing or anything, but we lived to see and meet people who had witnessed it during that time, and you hear what they say when they saw it on TV or news of it, and then we learn it through school, obviously, to now getting to the point where, it's going beyond that now you can just go into low Earth orbit or just kind of mini space and just have a little view.
An astronaut, if you have the money.
I think everyone wanted to be an astronaut when they were a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know. Now the dream's a lot more easier.
Lum says here, it's funny how Elon Musk dwarfs Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic. These people are going to space for 3 days with SpaceX, whereas the other companies last
a few minutes. I'd rather a few days than just a few minutes for sure.
Exactly, right?
Oh, for sure.
SpaceX can finish developing the point travel. You can get everywhere on Earth within an hour or so. Man, that would be cool.
That would be
to get anywhere on Earth within an hour. That could be dangerous too. It'd be cool and dangerous at the same time.
Yeah,
but I like Lam's next comment. This one's great.
Exactly. Hopefully the ticket is less than 5,000 US or free with a WisePass.
Free with WisePass. Everyone get your WisePass.
SpaceX.
Nice little plug there, mate. Nice little plug
with a WisePass logo on it.
Yeah, just on the side of it. WisePass to the moon.
Well, this next comment is good too. So, Pat, who normally joins us here, I wanted to be Sean when I was a kid.
Still can, Pat. You still can.
Hilarious.
One day when you grow up, Pat, you can be as cool as Sean.
He's already as cool.
Well, you can start by the Feely vibes. Start by the Feely vibes. So, you updated your iPhone yet, Sean?
No, I haven't, because I've been worried about what you guys told me. So, have you updated yours? Is there anything weird or different?
Only iPhone 8 I've updated. I mean, for me to connect to the HomePod, it needed to update, so I just did that.
Is there anything different?
Seems normal, I guess.
That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to seem normal while they're taking our information, spying on us, stealing our passwords in my Ada.
I agree. So,
what's the Cliff's notes on that story? Just update me, because I wasn't here for that episode, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers weren't.
Well, I mean, as you know, the iPhone and Apple's various range of products, from the iPad Mini, the iPhone 13, the Apple Watch Series 7 was launched on the 14th of September. We watched the launch, and they, advertised a new range of features, CPU upgrades, video capabilities, just this one-stop shop on a phone where you can edit. And there's a cinematic mode on the iPhone 13 that does rack focus far as you film and in post as well. So if you make a mini movie and something happens over there, you can pull the focus back over there, and you can export in ProRes.
Oh
files.
Wow! Okay, that's huge. That'll be huge for a lot of video creators.
Exactly, and you can get the phone can go up to 1 terabyte storage. I don't know. I mean, I think other competition has already got to 1 terabyte as well, but that's a first for Apple.
Is it going to be like $4,000?
Well, it starts at $999, and that's for a 128 gigabyte, I think. But that's just for the iPhone 13. When you go Pro Max or Pro or whatever it is, the official name, what it's called, obviously you're paying for the storage as you go higher. And then you got your iPad Mini, which has this motion tracker in its lens. So for amateur, I guess, video content creators, or even just people who on FaceTime, you can put your iPad there and stand up here and do a demo. And if I go to the left, the lens automatically
follows you. Yeah. I think I saw that in the preview. Yeah.
So that's really good too. So
some interesting tech features.
Yeah. So I mean, the demos they showed, it always looks great on trailers. Apple trailers, Samsung trailers, always look amazing. But until people get their hands on it, like next week after the pre-order, and then you start seeing people uploading their demos on it, then you can kind of go, okay, cool, or follow like your favorite, I guess your favorite reviewer, tech reviewer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alum here says, can we do a poll? Yay or nay? I don't know if I can create a poll straight on here. I'll have to do a poll straight on the Facebook page. So I'll do a poll in a sec. But we got Oscar's dad, who's going to join us right now, Mr. Paddy O. How's the little fella?
Yeah, he's all right.
His eye was it open yet?
Yeah, he had some sort of irritation from last night. It seems like one of his eyelashes grew into his eye, like instead of outside of his eyelash. Yeah, so we had him checked. He's still a little flingy with his eye, but he's doing all right.
Did he get the jab?
No, he got some meds. Wasn't cheap, I tell you that. Jeez.
How much around was it? Was there like an initial setup fee or like a?
So basically, it was like he got checked. So the doctor checked him, gave us medicine, flushed out his eye, pulled out one of the hairs, and then she's like, "Oh, we might have to do some operation." And I'm like, "Nah, just do what you can. We're not doing no operation right now." And then and after all that, it was like 1.6 mil.
Wow,
that's not so bad. I'm
pushing for an operation.
I mean, well,
could have been a lot worse.
All she done was drop, gave it a wipe, and she went, "Yep, that's 1.6."
Okay, all right.
Did you ask what the operation entails?
Oh, so the operation basically is, so he goes under anesthesia, and then they cut his eyelid, and then they cut that part that has the hair growing, because she's like, if I pull this out, it's probably gonna grow. And I said, yeah, I'll take that chance. Just pull it out for now, and if it grows back, then we'll do it. But for now, it's all good.
Damn.
Were you like, I'll rip it out myself next time?
Yeah, exactly. And then she gave us like some eye drops. She's like, this one is for his irritated eye, and then this one is artificial tears. And I'm like, she just gave me two different sets of eye drops. It's probably the same thing, but yeah, okay, whatever. Just
mate, it's just saline. Just get the human ones from the vet. I mean, from the pharmacy next time.
Human ones.
The
human.
I mean, saline.
What other
right?
types are there, Matthias?
Well, yeah, you can use that one apparently.
Ones?
Alien ones.
Shit. Pug lives matter. People, pug lives matter.
But he's all right now.
That he's good. That's good to know. But gentlemen, back onto was not going to space, but check this out.
What is in India?
Building eco-friendly and affordable air taxis. I've seen a couple of air taxi videos online. Now, I don't know how high they fly, but apparently there's a specific region in the airspace that they will start doing this, and you can just commute, to your destination in obviously faster than a car, because you're not really going on a road kind of thing. But of all places, hey.
Yeah,
this is really exciting. Really exciting.
That would be nuts. I wonder what the cost of that would be. Like,
it looks like a giant drone. Like that.
That's exactly what they are. That's exactly what they are, Petey. Nailed it.
For sure. Looks nice.
I mean, how many people can fit in there? It seems like there's only the pilot and the passenger.
Yeah. Uber air taxi. That'll be cool.
Uber air taxi.
Grab air taxi.
There is one in the US. You have the Uber plane, the Uber helicopters.
Uber flight, I think it's called, or something like that. Yeah, it's happening already in LA and San Fran.
It's in LA already.
I think maybe New York, as well. Yeah,
it's not cheap. It's like $1,000 a flight.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Jesus Christ!
When you got LA traffic, F that, and you're balling. It'd be Uber helicopter and everywhere.
Yeah, because I saw Casey Neistat was doing it when he was going from his place to the airport in New York.
Of course he was.
He was?
Yeah.
One day, guys. One day.
One day.
What we need here is coming up is Uber boats with the rainy season coming.
That's true. Some of the pictures that people Photoshop look legit too.
Yeah. Imagine seeing a dinghy go down the road, with one of those 2-stroke motors.
And the guy in a
It'd be
green
pretty
jacket.
fun. Actually, my mate Tom and I were just discussing that it would be really fun to and actually we were talking about it as well, Sean. It would be really fun to get one of the longtail boats and drive it around the river. But I mean, I don't think that would be necessarily legal as such. But I can't imagine they're overly expensive or difficult to drive. But that would be really cool. I'd love to go down some of the canals and whatnot. Yeah, it would be heaps of fun.
Cans in hand.
Cans in hand.
Cans in hands. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, QuaranStream Vibes just hangs. WisePass is the name of the game. Enjoy life every day, everywhere. Available to download on iOS and Android. So, here were the boys, Pat, Matty I, Sean Connery. What else you guys been up to since yesterday? Had good sleep from the big shift?
My body is in pain.
Right now?
I told you it would be, Sean. I told you it would be. Yeah. I'm a little bit in pain. I'm not too bad. at the moment. I did have a good sleep though. I slept a long time, like 9 or 10 hours. Needed it.
You know what that means though, Sean?
What does that mean?
It means you need to toughen up, mate.
Have a spoonful of cement, mate. Harden the fuck up.
Hard enough.
That's it.
So they also say pain is weakness leaving the body. Hey, Sean.
Yep.
That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We'll be right back with some more hot action goss from Sean and his dessert bar.
Let's go.
Vibes just hangs. Damn, I've got some grey clouds coming over. Marge is really coming through.
She was just growling.
Growling. Oh, maybe Matthias doesn't know what the term Marge. So actually, you'll know it when I tell you. But our terminology of Marge is rain, storm, thunder, lightning, into that, and it comes from an Aussie commercial. So if you remember, Matthias, back in the day, there was this commercial where an old farmer is sitting on like the bottom deck of his porch of his 2-story house out in this sort of like drought desert farm, and he's sitting there.
Marge, the rains are coming.
Yes, that's the one.
I got it.
A little bit of drip was coming. Then Marge, the rains are coming. So since then, we've always just said, "Yo, Marge is pissed off."
What was that advertising? Was that like an insurance company or something? Or
it was juicy corn because the kids were upstairs eating the corn because it's so juicy.
Of course, yes, it was the corn. McCain, you've done it again.
That's it. The joys of commercial life back then was you had to exaggerate anything and everything. It was so juicy. You think the rains are here.
It worked though. Hey, we still remember it. How many years later? Yeah. Effective advertising.
Of course. Guys, check this out. So there's some really great artwork in Vietnam. Also, we'll bring Patty back on first of all, so you can have a look. So, artworks play role in fighting COVID-19 in Vietnam. So, I mean, I don't know where these are located. It'd be cool to. I mean, obviously, no one's going to be around to see it, but hopefully, when things open up, the community can get around and we can see some of these artwork of good vibes and
to be honest,
inspiration.
I really enjoy that like propaganda style of artwork. And so this is like a more modern version, and it's less about sort of I guess communism or socialism, and more about sort of defeating COVID together. But it's still the same sort of flavor, same sort of style. So I really enjoy it. And for me, like it kind of reminds me of like my early childhood in communist Hungary, which is where I was born, and that's before I immigrated to Australia. Really reminds me of that.
Hungary a communist country?
It was until the Berlin Wall fell in, I think, 89 or 88 from memory. I think it was 89. So it was, and we had a lot of the sort of like propaganda style, as well as kind of like the brutalist architecture and sculptures that we still have here. So yeah, it's it kind of puts a smile on my face, and it reminds me of my early childhood.
Can we find any online of that back in Hungary?
I'm sure we could, but I'm just on my phone, and if I start messing around on it, then the video will go all funny. So, but yeah, I mean, if you search, it's very similar to like what you were just showing me now, Petey. It's that kind of like like the heroic cartoon style people working together to defeat a common enemy, which in this case is COVID. Yeah, it's a very like if you're going to Google something, Google propaganda posters Hungary or Vietnam or any of that. It all has a very, very similar look and style and feel.
I love the art around Vietnam. I think it's so good and it's different, even though what they're directing towards. But I think there's amazing artists here, like all around Vietnam. I've seen beautiful, beautiful pieces and murals.
I would definitely agree with that. Some fantastic painters as well. Some incredible.
And like old school painters, like the old sign painters that like, oh man, they like perfect, like hand painted, like old school signs. Classic, man. Cheap as hell.
So this is just
actually that reminds me. Oh yeah, there we go.
It's that style. Hey, it's like everyone has that same sort of style of drawing.
Yeah, there's a style to it.
Where you've got the low point of view looking up towards the heroic character with like a bold, simple background. The people defeating the evil scourge of COVID in this case. Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, if you sort of compare it to like even like the Soviet style or the Vietnamese style, like it's the communist sort of or socialist style of artwork is all very, very similar. It's that still kind of same kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, that's cool. See all the COVID ones. Ở nhà là yêu nước. Love your country, stay home.
They look like watercolor paintings or like watercolor sketches.
It's cool. It gives a really nostalgic feel, doesn't it?
For me, especially, yeah.
So when did you leave Hungary?
So I was 9 years old at the time. So I left Hungary in 1992. So I spent sort of my first 6 years in communist Hungary. Then the Berlin Wall fell. I was there for another 3 years and then moved to Australia. So I was 9 years old when I moved to Australia. And yeah, I sort of grew up there. And in the last 10 years, I've been doing a bunch of travel and yeah.
Picked up a little bit of the accent, mate.
Yeah, a little bit, just little.
Yeah, and Patty, you were born in Sydney, yes?
Yes.
What was the youngest? What was the first time you went back to the Philippines, though?
I think I was around 6.
Yeah, you guys all went back early. Hey, I didn't come back to Vietnam until I was 15, and I had friends who were already coming back to Vietnam when they were like under 10.
Yes, and when we were going back twice a year.
Twice a year. That's a lot.
Yeah. Since I was a little kid, we were going back twice a year, sometimes even 3 times.
So you've spent a lot of time there. Cool.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time there. We still have a lot of family there. Majority of my mother's side is still back in the Philippines. A lot of my father's side is most of his brothers and sisters are all in Sydney. So I think they first moved there in like the early 70s, I think, from memory. So yeah, it started from one uncle. We were supposed to move to the US. My dad was, I would say he was the black sheep of the family, where he just didn't follow rules. Got kicked out of like 2 or 3 universities. Yeah, and he was just like, no, I ain't going with the fam. I'm taking my family to the US. But we ended up in Sydney because my eldest uncle was like no, if you do that, then you're cut off to whatever we have left in the family. And he was like, all right,
Okay, I'll go to Sydney.
yeah, and that's how we ended up there. So
Nice.
So
Good choice.
if you did move to the States, where would it have been?
most likely Chicago, because most of our family from my old man is in Chicago, or probably LA. But it was looking like Chicago.
Chi-town.
So how do you think you would be different now compared to if your family had moved to Chicago instead?
I don't know, man. That's a good question, but it's a tough one. I think. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have a clue, because I like the stuff that I like goes back to the US. Like the stuff that I'm interested at is majority I would say the hip hop sort of culture, which goes
I see you're wearing an LA hat.
Well, yeah. So like I like to collect sneakers. I like sort of like that hip hop culture. I like music. So I don't know. It's probably just gonna be lengthened. And I play a lot of basketball, but I'm a true Bogan at heart. So
Yeah, right.
Well, he wanted to be like Sean, so that he was getting closer to Sean.
Yeah, that's it. I understand.
Sean, but the only thing we had in common was our heads. No, I'm happy. I'm happy to be full-fledged Aussie. So I'm never going back from that. I think I would have preferred to be in Australia rather than growing up into the US. No offense, Sean, or no offense to my family in the States, but
none taken.
I think growing up in Australia is preferred for me anyway.
So the reason I asked that question, if I may talk about myself yet again, only for a minute, I'll be quick. I've often considered how different my life would be if my parents had decided to or didn't decide to sort of leave everything that they knew behind in Eastern Europe or Central Europe, I suppose, and move to Australia. And I actually have two half brothers who we saw each other a lot in our childhood, not a lot, a couple of times a year, but they're very similarly aged to me, and they're very similar, like family background compared to me, and their lives are, I would say so different to mine, so unrecognizably different, and they've had so many fewer opportunities compared to me, and for that I feel incredibly blessed and incredibly grateful to my parents for moving, and also very, very fortunate for being able to go to Australia and then sort of I guess later on move to Vietnam and live the life of my dreams, right? So I'm incredibly fortunate. But it's I've often thought that about what my life would look like and what I would be doing, and maybe I'd have a wife and kids and work a job, but I'd certainly have to work a lot harder for potentially a lot less opportunities, a lot less free time, a lot less money compared to what I did in Australia and the opportunities that I had there. So that's why I was kind of I wonder how you feel like your life would have been different had your family decided on Chi-town versus Sydney.
Yeah, no, I think it would be very different. I don't think I'd have the same professional career as what I would have had, and yeah.
But you'd see Michael Jordan, mate.
I would have seen Michael Jordan, but it's all good. It's all good.
To see him in your dreams.
For me, I could have also gone to America because my parents, and not a lot of people know this, my parents, they left post-war, 78, very young. They docked in somewhere in Malaysia, and then mum was pregnant. So I was born in Australia. I was born when mum was 16. My dad was 19.
Whoa.
Very young. So when she was pregnant in Malaysia, my dad's brothers, but basically all of my dad's side was in America, and they were ones sponsoring to go to America. But the wait for America was nearly a year. But for Australia, it was only about up to 6 months. And my mum's older sisters were already in Australia. Mum's like, I don't want to have the baby here. I want to go to Australia and we'll have the baby there. So, I mean, I could have been born in Malaysia, moved to America, or where I am now, which was born in Australia. So that's That's where I would have ended up, and just exactly
Wow,
like what
that
Pat
was
said.
close, so close.
I
Like
know,
a
that's
touch
crazy.
and go. Like it's only a few months difference.
Yeah, I was born at Royal Women's Hospital right next to the Eka Showgrounds, and funnily enough, I ended up
the
performing
Royal.
there as I went through. But you know, like what Pat said, like I have cousins in America, and I love them to bits, and you know, I've visited many times. But I kind of feel if I was raised there, I wouldn't be this person I am today. I might have been a little
Where
bit
would
more,
Where would you have moved, Petey, had you gone to America?
probably just in Cali, Orange County, where all my dad's brothers are. So I'd be like full, you know, out there with the ABGs and yo, what's up, baby, yo. you know how the Asians over there talk, the Vietnamese over there talk. They're a little bit more, I guess, gangster. They bask in the culture, like especially the black culture, quite easily. A lot of my cousins have amazing black friends, and they love Vietnamese culture too. So I go to this area like Korean town in Ho Chi, and they're all there and they're all hanging out. But it's just funny because I'm here Aussie, just speaking, being kind of polite because I've only just met some of these friends of my cousins. But they're full of, hey, yo, man, what's up, baby? You know, all this sort of stuff. I'm like, that's so weird. Exactly what happens in the movies is exactly what it is outside. So for me, it's like, but I mean, I guess it's the same for them. If they ever come to Australia and they see us, goes, yo, what up, cunt? You're a man. This guy's a man.
Oh, mate, just send them to Western Sydney. Hey, Pat.
So,
Yeah. Get them out to Cabramatta or to Canley Vale.
Get them out to Cabra.
mate, I think Sean will like Cabramatta.
Sean would love.
I think Sean would love Cabramatta. He'd bust out in Vietnamese, and all the shopkeepers would be in love immediately.
Tell him about Cabramatta, Paddy.
Yeah, what is this place? It sounds interesting. I mean, all of Australia.
It's like it's in the west of Sydney, and you know, it's just where all your Asians are basically, and majority of them is all Vietnamese. So like Cabramatta, next door to like Canley Vale, that's like
Canley Heights.
Yeah, you got Canley Heights, and that's all the Vietnamese. That's all your pho and your banh mi and everything to do with Vietnam. And basically, it's all the Vietnamese girls that you look for. The ABGs are there.
Oh man, let's go.
there's a lot of influence from Vietnam too, because there's a couple of celebs from here, comedians who have gone back to Vietnam and opened up restaurants within that area. So you've got like Jung Yang, who's opened up like a Gom Ga, and they've even got shops where, because they know a lot of the Vietnamese community travel back here, so they'll go back and open up a pho restaurant in Sydney. I'm not sure if it's still there, but Pho Pasteur. Like Pasteur Street. Pasteur Sydney. So it's sort of like if you can't make it to Vietnam, you can still come to Pho Pasteur, you know.
And the good thing with Cabramatta is that, you know, usually every weekend, every Asian in Sydney will drive to Cabramatta because all the fresh produce will be there. So everyone will go there, buy all their stuff. I used to go there every Sunday with my mom, right? We would go drive out there with my mom and dad, and then she would do her groceries, and after the groceries, we'd go out and eat. What else? Com Ga. And guess how much the Com Ga was? Guess how much it was back then? I'm talking 14, 15, nearly 20 years ago.
Let me guess.
Try and guess.
$5 or $6?
20 years ago.
That's what I would say. $5. Yeah.
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
So what? Year 2000s? Yeah, maybe $5 or $6. Maybe.
It was $7.95.
Back then, 20 years ago?
Yes.
How could you not buy it?
Fuck, what is it now?
$7.95. It was like rice, like this, bit of veggies, and then you get like the leg part of the chicken, right?
Like the hot Maryland.
Yeah.
$7.95. Guess how much it is now?
Probably 18,
20
19, 20.
24.
$22.
Oh yeah, there we go. That inflation, hey, you're showing your age, Pat.
Yep. $22. Imagine going for a pho and then paying $20 for one.
Look, I have to say though, like, I mean, everything in Australia is like a lot more expensive. Not everything. A lot of things in Australia are a lot more expensive, especially things that require labor, because our wages are so high in Australia that, you know, you have to pay the staff somehow. But I guess the good thing is we don't, you know, the price that's on the menu, this is going for our American friends. The price that's on the menu is what you pay. There's no like, plus taxes, plus tips, and all that sort of bullshit.
That's
No.
it.
What's on the menu is what you pay. End of story.
There's
So you
there's
know,
no tipping, huh?
Yeah, no
there's,
tipping.
there's no tip.
tipping
Thank
because
God,
they
no
get paid
tipping.
well, Sean. They
Their
get
salary's
paid
Yeah.
well.
higher,
You don't need
bro.
to tip.
That's
But
fucking great.
but that doesn't mean you don't have to. If you appreciate, the service, then you're welcome to tip.
You're welcome to tip, but it's certainly not expected.
Does that go for like bars and like
Everything, man,
Yep.
everything. You get
Just
you
you
get
have to
paid.
bill,
Everything.
that's it.
I mean, these days
I remember-
you'll find at some cafes and bars they'll have like a tip jar at the front, and if you want to tip, you tip. That's it.
I
Yeah,
remember,
so a lot of times people might drop some coins in there, or maybe a note if you're like really impressed, but it's certainly not a typical thing and not expected in the slightest. Thank God. But I guess the difference is, Sean, is that like and to our American viewers, people do receive wages that are like starting at $15, and that's totally normal. So and that's guaranteed. It's not like you're not relying on like a $5.70 minimum wage, I think is what you have in the States, or even less for servers, right? And then you rely on tipping to be able to like pay for your like living expenses. No, you get paid $15 an hour, but you don't need to tip. And so I've spent a lot of time thinking about this because tipping culture really, it's like a personal, like it grinds my gears, right? The difference is in my humble opinion, which could be wrong many times, is in America, the restaurant owners, the business owners are shifting the responsibility to pay their staff onto the customer, which I don't think is right. I don't think it should be the customer's problem, and I don't think it should be the customer's responsibility to figure out how much the restaurant's workers that they employ should be getting paid. Like, it's not the customer's problem. It's the business owner's problem. They should be the ones figuring it out.
Yeah.
And
Great service or good employees, pay them well.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
exactly.
Well, in Australia, Sean, employers also contribute to your own personal superannuation.
Yep.
So we're looked after back home.
401k,
so.
Retirement.
call it in the States.
America,
And then you get the old, you get the old people, a few people that do a few cash under the table jobs.
I remember I
Catchy.
saw this skit one time. It was some girls, they got their bill, and the bill came, and then she was like, excuse me, what is this? And the server's like, oh, it's gratuity. And she was like, I'm sorry, we didn't order that. And she's like, no, that's our tip. Because it's listed on the bill. And she's like, no, we didn't order that, bitch.
That's good.
No, that's my mandatory tip that you have to pay. And she's like, no, we didn't order it. Take it off the bill.
That's cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, QuaranStream Vibes just hangs. Marge only passed by for a little bit, but she's gone again. So don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to get some reactions from the boys for a couple of movies coming out. We're going to watch a trailer and then we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll see y'all in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to QuaranStream Vibes Just Hangs. Here with my guys, Paddy the Potato, Matty I, Sean Connery. It'll be only a matter of time before Matty I starts customizing his names because he sees us doing different types here.
I mean, I suppose that's already a custom name, right? Matty is a different version of Matthias.
Yes. Muck-yai. That's what
Muck-yai.
it says. Muck-yai.
That might have to be my next screen name.
That's a good nickname.
That's a good one. That's a good one. If you just joined us, guys, don't forget tomorrow night, Friday night, me and Pat do the late show, and we've got a really good, fun special guest. It'll be our first female guest tomorrow, who used to live here but has moved back to Germany. The incredible DJ Levi Oy. So I'll have the flyers out shortly for you guys to have a look at, so you get to meet. And we'll catch up with her on the stream as well. Matty, we got you coming up also. So don't worry. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got here a couple of films that I think is quite interesting. That
Some new ones coming out, huh?
We've got Steven Spielberg's West Side Story.
Ooh.
And then we'll watch this one first, and then the next one we'll watch is we'll talk about it, and then we'll do the next one. So let's.
You guys want to
Make
go
sure
to
I've
the
got
theater
it.
together?
Yes, please.
Make sure I've got it on mute so we don't get the double sound like last time. Okay,
As long as I get to hold
the.
the popcorn, Sean.
It's not all you can hold.
You'll have a different type of popcorn surprise inside the popcorn.
It's okay. As long as I'll have
Is
the
it a-
dessert
it's a-
ready.
Let me guess. It's a cheese flavor.
Yep.
Oh,
It's a different kind of cob, you know?
Petey, I think. Petey,
It's the
no.
sweetness.
All right, let's check this West Side Story.
It always gets dirty when I'm on this.
It does. It gets good.
The world is full of light. This is my first time in New York City. I want to be happy here. I want to make a life at home.
Are you ready? Tonight is about family. The first gringo boy who smiles at you.
I never seen you before. You're not Puerto Rican.
Is that okay?
Do you want to start World War III?
You know, I wake up to everything I know either getting sold or wrecked or being taken over by people that I don't like.
You keep away from him. As long as you're in my house.
I'm a grown-up now, Bernardo. I'm gonna think for myself.
Tony, we need you if we're going to war.
Who are you? Friend or foe?
If you go with him, no one will ever forgive you. Life matters even more than love.
Nice. There's some incredible cinematography there. Those lights as in the cathedral, like, oh man, that really caught my eye. Lights in the cathedral and when the couple were behind the orange and blue like fabric. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw that in there because, I mean, we're so used to talking about, you know, action, horror, that sort of genre. But every now and then when you get this sort of love story with some parts of, I guess, some musical bits in it and dramatic and family and life and stuff, it's a different kind of film. I wanted to see if you guys watch a lot of these type of films, and do you actually get really deep into it? Like, do you cry with these movies, or are you someone that can hold it back, or do you let yourself go?
I'll get some tears. I'll watch it and I get into it. I like the love and like the emotions, and I like to see like the hardship and the success at the end. But I mean, I don't like it's something like dramatic happens and or true love or something. I get it, I get a little bit of tears, but I don't let it go. I just try to hold it in, but inside I can feel my heart racing and my eyes get watery, but I try to keep it in.
What if you're on a date with a girl and it's starting to let it go? Do you let it go, or do you kind of be like,
I'll be like,
someone brought onions into the damn cinema. Jesus,
who's fucking eating onions?
Patty, how about you?
Yeah, no, I tend to hold it in. Not so much hold it in, but I feel the emotion. It gets to you. It tugs the heartstrings. That's definitely for sure. A little tear. Like I guess the eyes get all watery, but I don't necessarily just go off crying, bawling my eyes out, sort of. The only time I bawled my eyes out was Fast and Furious, the last scene with Paul Walker. That was the last time I bawled my eyes out. But I get teary. I get teary. That's it.
Yeah, shows the emotion.
Maddie looks too tough.
No, not at all. No, I mean, I think I would enjoy this preview. Like, I think that's pretty much convinced me to watch it. I like the fact that like it's a hero's journey, but the hero is a woman of color. Hell yeah, show me that movie. Like I'm fully into that. So and it looks like an interesting hero's journey that I haven't actually seen before. So I haven't seen West Side Story or read about it or really know anything about the story other than what I just saw now in the preview. And yeah, I mean, look, even just judging by the quality of the preview, like, it's certainly going to be beautiful, like cinematically going to be beautiful. So yeah, I'd absolutely watch that. In terms of whether I'd cry in a movie, yeah, I suppose, yeah. I probably wouldn't like bawl my eyes out or anything, but I'd let a tear or two go if it was appropriate. Yeah, absolutely.
Look at Sean egging on the criers.
Did you guys see who the lead actor is? Did you notice who the lead actor is?
No, who was it?
It's the guy from Baby Driver, the driver. Have you seen that
Is
movie?
it?
Yeah.
I haven't, no.
Where he's listening to the headphones,
and Ansel
right?
Elgort.
Yeah.
Ansel Elgort, is that who you're talking about?
Ansel Elgort.
Ansel
So
Elgort.
he was also the I don't know if you guys saw the movie Baby Driver, but that was a really good movie.
It was really good, actually.
Mm.
So he's got his playlist on.
This movie, man,
I'll
like
have to check it out.
what Maddie said with the whole cinematography and the lighting and everything, the acting is one thing, but this has a different type of choreography. Like, it's almost like dance and theater, because you see,
It's like Grease.
like when you're acting
Almost.
scenes, you're just sort of like, hey, you come up, you talk to this person, you pick up a pen, you put it down. Like, that's different to everyone's got to run in, like in this formation. That's a lot of rehearsals, man. That's a lot of goddamn rehearsals. So, yeah, I think the only movie that I really let myself go is not. I also cried with Paul Walker's exit from Fast 6. But Jerry Maguire, when I first saw that last scene when he had the touchdown and he was Cuba Gooding Jr. And then he was passed out, but he needed to not be injured so he can get that contract. And Jerry Maguire he was the only client he had. And he was starting to lose faith in him because he couldn't do it. Man, I'm going to sign with this other agency if you can't get me this deal. And then right at the end, when he finally got it, and he's like, "Where's Jerry? Where's Jerry?" And then Tom Cruise is in the back because he's now got his limelight. But then as soon as he saw Jerry, he cried. Then Tom Cruise cried. Jerry cried, and then they both hugged. And it was
Petey
just
cried.
that one moment. Yeah, and then I was like, "Fuck!" And I was letting it drip. And then like the other dude was like, "Yo, man, how come you don't hug me like that?" And then the agent tries to hug this. I said, "Yo, man, get off me." That kind of broke the crying thing. So that helped. But during that moment, I was like, yeah, it was like good tears. It wasn't a sad tears. It was good, happy tears, like that triumph. Because we've all been through something where once you have that relief that it's something that's meant so much to you, it's just bam.
Let it go.
You know what's a good exercise to do? You should probably do this, Pat, and you guys as well. Doesn't necessarily have to be with your girlfriend. It doesn't have to be your girlfriend. Be like a relative, someone that you've known for some time, that has a lot of memories, a lot of things that you've gone through together. And I watched this social experiment where they put two people in a room, like your mum and yourself, and they just sit there, and the timer goes off, just 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I think, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, no more than that. And you're not allowed to say a word. You just look at each other. That's it.
Whoa,
for 2 whole minutes. No words. I did
That
that
is
with
intense,
Mio.
yeah.
I did it with Mio. I was crying. I was dropping tears. Wow.
Wow.
Why are you crying? Because when I look at her for that long and no words, I see this person I've been growing with. And we go through everything.
Oh, that's beautiful, Petey.
Yeah.
Brownie points for you. I hope she's listening.
Yeah, she's sitting on the couch behind him.
It's funny because when we finished, she was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm just, just thinking about everything we've gone through." And then she was
Absolutely,
like, "Yeah, me too." And then I was like, You didn't cry.
And where were your tears?
Imagine you do that, like you're bawling your eyes out, and she's just cracking up laughing.
Far out.
Oh man, that's touching. Good luck, Petey.
Looking
Good
forward
luck.
to it as well. So let me pull this one up. What do you guys think of these? You know, when they do trailers, that you have the teaser, and then you have like trailer 1, then you have trailer 2, and then you might have like a whole scene.
I want it all. I want to see it.
Touche.
I don't want to freaking wait for these teasers. I want to see it. You know, give me the length.
Okay,
What do we got next?
so I am pulling off of this one here. Fuck, it's a long one though.
When was the last time you guys went to the cinemas?
For a movie?
That's a good question. Yeah, well,
Before COVID, mate.
My last
What
time
year
was
is it?
was with Petey.
The beginning of last.
Oh shit,
year.
was it that long ago?
Yeah, my last one was with Petey.
Damn.
We watched a Vietnamese movie.
Wait.
That's right. The horror movie. That was a great movie too. It was a really good movie.
Cheap
It
jumps.
was a really good movie. Cheap jump scares, fully.
Yeah, cheap jump scares are the best.
All right, so I won't play the 3-minute trailer. I'll play the teaser, which is only a minute something.
Yeah, do that for sure.
So this is it. Let me mute this bastard
Dude.
over here.
Oh, I've heard something. I read something about this. I didn't see anything about it though.
Oh, legendary picture is going to be good.
Remove your hand from the box, and you die.
Oh, it's June, of course.
What's in the box? Pain.
They spelt it wrong.
Henry.
Batista.
Ooh.
What will you do?
Oh, epic.
Now that's a trailer. It makes you want to see more.
So,
Teaser.
I actually looked a little bit into this because back in my early childhood, there was a game, like a real-time strategy game named June, and it was based on this author's book, like epic book, and it's supposed to be one of the most, like one of the best sci-fi universes in basically fiction. And I started reading the book recently when I came to Vietnam, and I was stuck in hotel quarantine for 3 weeks. So I read a little bit about the beginning of it, and honestly, it's whoever the director is for this, they have got their work cut out for them, because there is so much content and so much like world to describe that it's going to be very challenging. And I think there's been at least one, maybe two other directors that have tried to turn this book into a movie and have not like they've failed at it. So it'll be very interesting to see how they go.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, these sort of trailers, I'm a huge fan of movies where you're in a different world, like that sort of sci-fi / all these different sort of, it's like a different race almost, or some sort of a pre-apocalyptic race, and something's happening after, like I'm a huge fan of it. Like, yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. Plus, me too.
Aquaman I'll definitely watch this.
He looks so weird without a beard.
Oh, that Aquaman, huh? That's who that was.
And who was the chick again? What's her name again? Zendaya? Was it her? It was her too? Yes, she's in that as well. And she's doing a lot now, hey?
Yeah.
Raking in the IMDb's.
Yeah.
I got an IMDb.
Is it up to date?
Not all. It's still missing maybe 2. Sometimes that takes a while because it's not me that gets to update it. It's the producers that have to update it.
Ah, okay. So it's not like Wikipedia where anyone can update it.
Yeah, because they're the one that gives the credit to you. So I can't give that credit to myself. So they put their movie out and then they'll credit, and then that just gets linked to your profile.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a movie with Mike Tyson.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you get him to punch you at any point?
No, I'm not in any of that. Like we shot it all in separate. It was when Tyson came here. So
I never saw that movie. I saw commercials.
It's called English title is called Girls vs Gangsters 2. So it's a sequel. It's basically a girls' version of Hangover. So one of them is getting married. They decide to come to Vietnam for their bachelorette party, and shit goes wild. And they run into Mike Tyson here. And I play this cheesy magician that she runs into, and I end up choosing her in the audience, pull her up on stage, and then she disappears, she like off this chair, but actually she falls through the floor into the secret compartment room. And yeah, so it's similar story, like they have a wild night, they wake up and they somehow have this briefcase full of money, and these gangsters are looking for it. So they're running around trying to find each other, trying to remember what the hell happened the night before. Girls vs Gangsters. It's a Hong Kong movie. Hong Kong stars.
Check that out.
Girls vs Gangsters 2, sorry, part 2. Yeah. So Tyson was here. He apparently Olaf did the shoot for him, Pat. Olaf did the posters.
What
he was telling me that 2018? 2018? Oh no, we shot it. Yeah. Maybe we shot it 2017. It was released 2018. But he was telling me that Tyson was really nice. He didn't really need much. The trailer that they had for him, which is the only trailer for the actor, every other actor just sat on chairs. Every other Vietnamese actor just sat on chairs like stools. He had his own little trailer, and he requested that he always had water and some fruits and a PlayStation. And he was sitting there playing PlayStation. So that's what Olaf said. So it was kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if I had a day where I was on the same time. Maybe could have possibly asked for a photo, but no.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
As if not asked for a punch. That'd be a much better story.
Imagine that. Yo, Mike Tyson, show us a punch. Bush.
Not in the face, obviously. Just be like, punch me in the shoulder or something. Like that'd be all right.
Lum did ask, anyone see the David Lynch version? Is there another version of June? Is there?
David Lynch?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So I think there's been a couple of different ones, like a long time ago, and they didn't do so well. They weren't critically acclaimed. So whoever this producer is, or whoever this director is going to have their work cut out for them, because it's a lot of content. It's a lot of ground to cover in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Interesting. We're looking forward to that. Ladies and gentlemen, QuaranStream Vibes just hangs here with WisePass and the boys, Matty I, Potato, Sean Connery. We've reached our time. We'll see you guys again on the Sunday roast at 3 p.m. We've got a few new changes. We'll update you guys then, but be sure to keep checking back on our pages. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow to the Friday night pretty late show at 9 p.m. tomorrow. We've got a special guest, Levi Oy from Germany. Boys, pleasure once again. I'll see you backstage for some shenanigans. To everyone else out there, take care of yourselves. God bless and love ya.
Doctor, nice.